Hey there, Coach Devin here. I want to talk about something that I see online a lot recently. It's usually from online experts who like to say, why are you business owners complaining about needing, money, complaining about your rent level right now, complaining about having to pay your rent, because why the heck do you have to worry about paying rent? If you were a good business, you would have saved 3 months of money for operating expenses up, and you'd be fine. So stop asking the landlord to bail you out. Now, I hate engaging with people online in a negative fashion. I just don't think it's helpful. It's like arguing with a stranger on the street. Who cares? So none of their, I don't care about their opinion. However, I do think the problem with this argument is that it has a grain of truth in it. So number one, yes, you should save money for your business. 100% you need to save money for your business. That's how business works. You need to save money. So I am a big saver. I have always heard that. My mom and dad told me have 3 months put away. And you know what? I got divorced. I got in the headspace of saying, you got to save money. So I did. I am very confident that my business will get through this. I am not about to go bankrupt. I'm not about to go under like Pier 1 Exports that's going under. That's a national chain. Going to be done. That's not going to be me, and that's good. I'm happy that I did that. It was good advice from my parents. The problem with the argument is you take that one grain of truth, which says you should save money, which is true, and then say, yes, so you should pay 100% of your rent, 100% of your operating costs. What's your problem? Okay, the problem with that goes like this. Number one, if I'm supposed to save, 3 months of operating expenses, why is my landlord not saving the 3 months of operating expenses? The landlords are saying, we need our money. We need our money right now or we'll go under. Which is true, and I understand where they're coming from. But if I've saved my money, why hasn't my landlord saved their money? And in that case, why don't we share the cost? I pay half, they pay half, because down the road, if a landlord my business closes, landlord kicks me out. Now they make $0 for that space. There's not going to be enormous numbers of businesses cropping up saying, hey, I want to rent some space right now. It's not the way it's going to be. Right now, what we're going to have happen is there's going to be a surplus of spaces because a lot of businesses will close, unfortunately. That's just life. And it sucks and it's a shame, but that does mean the landlord's in an interesting position. Every landlord out there wants their businesses to survive because if the business doesn't survive, the landlord now is in trouble. So why is it that the landlord is not wanting to chip in and help out? It just doesn't make sense to me. It makes more sense for me, if I was a landlord, to chip in with my businesses, help them get through this so I don't go under down the road. It's common sense, but unfortunately, a lot of landlords aren't getting it. The second part of this issue that I have is that people usually say in these situations, you're a bad business owner, you haven't saved enough money. Now, there's a lot of businesses out there that probably haven't saved enough money and they haven't planned well, and I get that. However, let's just all take a step back for a second. Small business, you're not doing well, you don't have enough money saved up, you should be paying 100% of your rent, paying all your bills, who cares, you're fine. That's the argument. However, they don't talk about the fact that Pier 1 Exports in Canada closed. It's done. They are closing. They're not going into bankruptcy protection, they're finished. Boeing is talking about having to go into bankruptcy protection. Hertz Rent-A-Car in bankruptcy protection. Air Canada laid off 20,000 people and is talking that they need a bailout. So if I'm such a crappy business owner, or Joe down the road is such a crappy business owner because he didn't save enough money, and the rest of the public and these stupid idiots online who are saying, well, what's wrong with you? You're just a bad business owner. So is Air Canada. Except you're going to bail out Air Canada. You know why? Because that's where your tax dollars are going to go. Because Air Canada can't fail. So this is the issue that I have with it. It's people taking a little grain of truth saying you should save money and then extrapolating out into a bunch of baloney that comes down to insulting small business. Listen, here's the numbers for Canada. Did a bunch of research last night just to look at. There's 15 and change million people in the workforce in Canada. 8.4% of them work for small businesses. If you bump it up to small and medium-sized businesses, over 90% of them are working for these companies. If enormous companies like Boeing are going out of business, if enormous companies like, or having problems, or enormous companies like Pier 1 are going out of business and they're done, if Air Canada needs a bailout, guess what? If they need it, everybody needs it. So stop when you see something online with someone and you're saying, hey, why the heck should, why would you need money for rent? You should just have all your money saved up. Just think, those landlords probably don't have money to save it either. And all these enormous companies have leveraged themselves to a point where they can't function well and they have to close and or go into bankruptcy protection. Why is it any different for a small business? It's not. And look, the economics of the world are not save money. Most people don't. If you look out there, most people live paycheck to paycheck. Because there's a lot of people right now that are very stressed because they don't have the money to pay for their house, car, whatever, right? Lights, food. They just don't have money for that. And that's tough and it sucks. It's a real negative thing to have happen. But to turn around and say to them at that point, look, what's wrong with you? Why didn't you do a better job? You're just being an ass. That's all you're doing. And 99% of the time, the people who are making these comments work for the government, which means you have a job that's guaranteed. Well, we thought it was guaranteed because Halifax municipality had to lay off 1,500 people already. So is Halifax a bad employer? They're just bad at business? This stuff just ticks me off no end. It's ridiculous. It's a stupid argument based on a little kernel of truth and then extrapolate it out and say, what's wrong with all you business owners? Here's the truth, guys. Small business owners are not ballers, okay? You make some money. You know what I have? I have a job. I own a business and I employ 22 people, but I have a job. I'm not sitting around in my Ferrari. I'm not sitting on a boat or a yacht somewhere. Not driving supercars in a 5,000 square foot mansion, 8,000 square foot mansion. That's not life for small business owners. Small business owners go to work every day, just like you and I do. They go to work every single day because if they don't go to work, business is done. If they don't get enough sales, business is done. Do we really want to be in a boat where we're criticizing small business, criticizing medium-sized business in Canada when 80 to 90% of us work for those businesses? And if those businesses go under, if half the businesses, small and medium-sized businesses in Canada go under, about half of the workforce is out of work. And you know what? If half of you guys are out of work and we have a 40% plus unemployment rate, then we're going to see the rubber will hit the road because government will have to lay everybody off too. So all the people who are saying, well, I have a good government job. Yes, you do, until they lay you off. We are all in this together. And you know what? I hate people keep saying that. And it drives me crazy to hear it because people just like to say it, to hear themselves say it. Here's the problem though. We are in this together. If small business doesn't survive, we're all in trouble. If medium business doesn't survive, we're all in trouble. Because the government needs a certain amount of tax dollars. Without those tax dollars are generated by small and medium-sized businesses, for the most part, across Canada. People who work in the public sector are generating some tax dollars. The private sector generates the tax dollars. That's just life. So before you sit around and criticize and say, oh, well, you're just a bad business owner and you're probably hiding money and you're rich anyway and it's just common sense, think about what you're saying. Don't be a dummy. Don't be an ass. Have yourself an amazing day, everybody. Go support small business. Take care.